Hi, I'm Rob and welcome to Rob's Models, and today going to be doing a review of ICM's The Ghost of Kyiv in 1:72 scale. Now this is a model that obviously has been re-released, quite a lot of publicity about it, based on the 2008 mouldings. I got this from MJR Models. There's a little beer mat that you get in with it, and actually I got it through their Facebook site, which is something I highly recommend you joining if you're not a member. Search for model kits for less, and although they've got the shop, which is the MJR Models shop, which I purchased through before, if you buy things they put on deals on their Facebook group, well worth checking out. And also, as well, as you can see, something extra, I got the paint set to go with this. The scheme in here is actually Decals, but I have actually got the paint scheme to go with it, so I could paint it. However, I haven't got the mask set, and there's a couple of companies that do a mask set for it. However, understandably, they're sold out. However, the whole thing, so you've got the kit, the paint and the delivery, coming at about £27, although I must admit there was a bit of a wait. However, most of that was actually waiting for MJR Models to get the stock of paints. So let's come on to the paints in a bit. Look at the model first of all. As mentioned, this is a reboxing of the 2008, I believe, MiG-29 of the Ukrainian Air Force, and just to see here, that is reference number 72140. As I said, it's in 1:72 scale, and it's based on the Ghost of Kyiv. I believe it hasn't actually got the figure in there, which apparently has annoyed a few people, but you can see they're really publicising the fact that these are made in Ukraine. I think there are actually a couple of options there. We've only got one option on the side of that digital camo art, that's the number 19. But yeah, it goes through a little bit of a story about the Ghost of Kyiv and whether it really exists, who it was, and if it was actually one person or a couple of people. I think they do admit it is a bit of a media thing, but yeah, good on them. So let's open the box, and we've got 6 little bits of tape keeping this in. So it's the kind of standard lift the lid off, and to be encountered another box which has got tape. Okay, so that's handy, and that's quite sturdy actually, so that's quite a good box within a box actually. Means that obviously things can go on top. And what have we got there? Actually, I've got to say, I know it's 72nd scale, but of course I'm not looking for a massive kit. Got that there. Instructions, looks quite simple, and the decals. So let's get this out of the way and then jump in with the instructions first of all. It gives a bit of information about maximum takeoff weights and sizes of the actual thing. Here we've got the colour combinations given in the ICM, which of course we've got the paint set for. It does also give the Ravel and Tamiya colour codes as well. To be honest, although it's the Ukrainian military and we'll just grab it there, it says it's the Ukrainian Air Force colours. The actual colours are sort of off-white, sky grey, dark sea grey, dark grey and German grey, which is all pretty much standard colours anyway. So we'll come in here, we can see we should have 1, 2, 3, 4 sprues, including a clear sprue, some of which has been blanked out. So looking at the instructions, we start off, looks quite a simple cockpit with just a seat going into the tub, instrument panel, making up the wheels. The fuselage is a top and bottom affair, so that will sandwich together once you've got the cockpit in there, and then coming over, and actually it looks quite a simple case of putting on the wings. Actually, wings don't need to be laminated, that looks like it's literally just a left and a right wing. Intakes, although the intakes do have a little bit of building to do, and then you've got some missiles and armament going on there, a few different options. Looks scarily simple actually. And then we come on to the actual decals. So of course these could actually be painted, but have actually got the decals for them to go on, although having the paints will make any touching up a bit easier. And it looks like there's 3 different options in there, so you'd either have the 19 or the 19 or the 02 or the 53, but the actual main camo is going to be the same, the main camo pattern, so that's fine. So quite a simple build by the look of this. Doesn't look it's going to be a massively detailed kit, but let's have a look and see what we've got. So let's come in with the decals. Now that actually surprised me, it's numbers, although we have actually got a scheme where it says you could either do the 19 in white, or the 02 in the blue, or the 53 in the white with the yellow outline. Actually, you could do whatever number you want. They've literally just given you all the numbers there. It does look like we've got a decal for the instrument panel, which wasn't actually shown in the instructions. I mean, obviously a bit of common sense as it would be. And roundels and the little shield. So actually that's quite a useful sort of decal sheet in a way, because it gives you the options for doing other things later. It's a sort of decal sheet that's worth keeping after you use it. And we'll come on to the actual decals themselves for doing the main digital camouflage pattern, and they are looking nice. And also, though on blue paper, I would say that they do feel quite thin, so hopefully we shouldn't have any problems getting them over any lumps and bumps. So let's have a look at the main kit. So it comes in a bag, don't need that. It is all a bit tightly pressed together, but there shouldn't be too much damage because it was in that sturdier cardboard inner box. So here we go. So you can see that the main part is two halves. I was worried about some of the detail, especially in the gear phase, landing gear phase, but actually there's some very fine pipe work and texture going on there. I have noticed that there's the holes in the starboard side one will need drilling out. They've not been put through all the way. Recessed panel lines, but I've got to say there's some little vents, little bit of grills over the vents, and that does actually look quite nice. That should take a wash. And again, grills there, and behind the pilot we have actually got a bit going on which didn't really show in the instructions for quite a simple kit, so we should have a bit of detail in there. Next screw. Actually what's interesting is, although some of these items are blanked out on the instructions, they haven't actually been removed, so useful just for spares and stores. I mean, it is interesting in a way that you can see with these tanks, the pylon has actually been moulded on. But saying that, the looking at the detail on there, and especially those pylons, that is some very, very fine panel lines going on there, and things that should take a wash quite nicely. And again, on the missiles, there's a few bits quite fine, and it is, yeah, I was worried it might be a little bit toy-like, but actually it looks like it'll be a simple build, but actually quite a bit of detail. Now, as you can see with the wings, you've got a port and a starboard, and they are quite thick. So whereas most manufacturers would laminate them, you'd have an upper and a lower surface. Something that's just caught my eye. I'm going to have to do this on the high resolution photos because you're not going to see it, but there's some rivets, and you might be able to hear some very, very fine sort of riveting detail on there, which is catching the lights, but I just don't think it's going to be too fine to really come out on that camera, so I'm going to have to try and do a photo. And actually for 70-second we've got quite a nice, quite a few switches actually in the cockpit tub, which no decals for, but with a little bit of a wash and a dry brush that should just bring out some of those switches, and again get the decals on. It's quite instrument panel, but there is some sort of raised detail again which can come out, and again inside of those doors. So actually some quite fine detail. And again, on the wings, there's you've got your main panel lines in there, but there are smaller ones, and it is quite fine. Maybe not quite as fine as the Revell Tornado in 72nd scale that I built a couple of years back, and I was pleasantly surprised by that. And so there is a little bit of flash here and there. I did notice in the tub where the seat's going to go, there is a ejector pin, but that shouldn't actually make much difference. Again, some ejector marks on the inside of the intakes, which are quite chunky. But overall, quite a simple kit there with those 3 sprues. And finally, we'll just have a look at the clear parts. But it does look quite clear, and it would be quite a nice open sort of canopy. Well, when I say open canopy, it is looking quite clear. So even in the shut position, you would still be able to get a good view inside of the cockpit. So that's just a quick unboxing of the ICM's 1 to 72nd scale Ghost of Kyiv, and that's the MiG-29 of the Ukrainian Air Force. I'm going to be building this one. That is actually the plan for this. That's why I've got the paints to go with it. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I've got to say, I am actually quite pleasantly surprised when I opened that up and saw that it was just sort of 3 quite basic sprues in there. I mean, the kit count, the kit parts count isn't actually too big, you know, when you're looking at it. Big sections there, the wings, everything's there, but when it goes together, you have actually got the amount of detail parts, like the gear doors aren't very not in number. However, there is quite a lot of fine detail on there, which a good modeller should be able to make the most of. And I mean, part of me does want to actually attack a digital camo scheme. However, I think if I do that, I'll do that in 48 scale, to be perfectly honest. I think for this one, it should be fine with the decals, and to be honest, there's not too many lumps and bumps, and hopefully if those decals go down well with the microset and microsol, that shouldn't actually cause too much of a problem, but it should be quite interesting finding out. So, I've been Rob. Thanks very much for watching Rob's Models. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe, hit a like, do a comment. Those sort of things really do help make a difference. Hope you've enjoyed this. I'm going to be building this one. This isn't just one of those things where I'm going to do a review and then stick it on the shelf. The plan is to build this, and we're going to see how it goes. Thanks very much for watching. Happy modelling. See you soon.